All right. Back. A little sick last week. Appreciate you guys being patient with me. I know there's a lot of people that enjoy the lives, which I really do appreciate. It's cool to see that the people care when I'm sick or I have things going on in my life, and they miss out on something that they have on a weekly basis. I try to be pretty consistent with these, so sorry for being out last week, but we're back. So Monday Night Live here. Ask me anything as usual. We'll run it down here in the chat. All the questions when it comes to digital assets, the markets, mitigating taxes, setting up your estate, putting yourself in position to be successful on the other side of some price appreciation, which is not what's going on in the market right now. we have seen total bloodbath, but that's as expected. We talked about this. We've been talking about this for literally a whole year. A year ago, I put out a video called the XRP Domino Theory, and that is literally what's playing out real time. We have the reverse carry trade actively unwinding across global markets right now, which is not going to be fun for most people, but it's going to be really, really fun for people holding the right assets on the other side of mass liquidations. So we've already started to see that in stocks over the last 24 hours and really the last couple of weeks. We're down more than 20% across the stock market from the top, which is a correction. And we're seeing that across crypto markets as well. Bitcoin's still bleeding. XRP back under $2. Lots of things. Looks like the sky's falling. Fear and greed index is at I think 15. We're back down to 15 after we had the pump from Trump about a week ago on the Sunday. Everybody was excited, crypto reserve, and we got the crypto reserve, and down we go. So don't let this dishearten you. For those that are looking to make an allocation to digital assets, I don't think it's a bad time. It's not ever a bad time to buy when the whole market is in fear. I can't give you financial advice, but I bought some today. So just telling you what I'm doing. But without further ado, we'll go ahead and hop into the questions here. You know how it goes. Just ask me anything over here in the chat when it comes to digital assets. Same thing over here on TikTok for you guys. I got the shirt on tonight. Shout out to Hal and his team. He's in our mastermind group. He does some pretty sick apparel. And is always nice enough to send me and our team some stuff every once in a while. So if you're looking for screen print, Hal Davis is the guy that does that, and he will do some cool XRP stuff for you. So without further ado, we'll hop into the questions. I have Atlantic Living. They're always so nice. They're always here. Appreciate them and their good questions. They say, my friend was irritated when I sent him your paragraph on X regarding 10K XRP equates to top 10% continued. So I want to talk about that. Some people were on either side of the fence with that deal. So we meet with a lot of people. Like we've literally had a couple thousand consults with people that hold pretty significant amounts of XRP. And I would say that there was a few people that pointed out, look, like people that hold larger amounts of XRP tend to have it distributed across a few wallets. That is absolutely true. You've also got, all the exchanges and institutions and enterprises and Ripple partners and Ripple employees. And there's a lot of those bigger wallets that are spoken for that aren't necessarily retail holders, right? So we can set those out. There's about 6 million wallets. About 3 million-ish of those are like 100 or less XRP. Most of those are just like fragments of stuff that people have forgot about that they sat somewhere when they opened a wallet and then just didn't move it. Back when the lock to open the wallet used to be, 20 XRP for a long time. So we just set those aside too. And so if you have 10,000 XRP, you're probably in the top 600,000 wallets, right? You're for sure in the top 600,000 wallets, because if you look at richlist-info, it only takes like 3,300 to be in the top 600,000 wallets. But when you exclude, the wallets that don't really count for anything, and the wallets that are held by large institutions and banks and other things, if you do the math, you'll come out to a point where it's about quasi, 10,000 XRP to be in the top 10% of people that are holding it, that are retail. And so anyway, that's how I came to that conclusion. And then we also, again, meet with a lot of people. And I would say, 10% of the people that reach out probably have around that much. Not to say that, our 1,000 couple, 2,000 or 3,000 people that we've met with are a good sample size of the XRP community. I would think that they are. But, that's just, again, based on anecdotal evidence, and then also the math off of what I'm able to see there. And then some anecdotal evidence that, I know that people that are holding more tend to disperse it across a few wallets. So as far as it says 10,000, that's cute. Hey, look, some people can only afford 10,000. And there was another person that was like, don't stroke people's ego with 10,000. Look, man, not everybody can afford to invest more than $5,000 in digital assets. Okay. If you hustled up during the bear market and you got kids and you got responsibilities, even if you had a second job and other stuff, I'm talking about during the bear market. This person's pointed out it's $20,000 today. It is $20,000 today, but when it was 50 cents, it'd been $5,000, right? So, but to set aside $5,000, if you were doing that over a 6-month period and you just now found out about digital assets in the last 8 months or something, I mean, that's a little hustle, right? Like, don't knock those people. And that $5,000 investment could be their retirement. I think it will be, if XRP does anything close to what we're hoping it does. I don't think people need to be overly concerned. Imagine, I know there's only 21 million Bitcoin, right? But imagine having 10,000 Bitcoin at $1, $2, 50 cents, whatever it was. I mean, you're going to be doing just fine if it goes to anywhere close to the prices that I'm going to talk about tonight. So, anyway, yeah, there was a lot of people that were a bit perturbed by that post, and I had lots of engagement on it. A lot of Bitcoin maxis also upset by that for some reason. He says, demonstrably false. In order to make that assertion, you'd have to know the owners of all the wallets. Maybe no one wallet has more than 10,000 10K XRP, and how to know that one person doesn't own 400K wallets. I mean, again, I'm just basing it off the close to 3,000 people we've talked to, and then we've got 1,500 people in the mastermind. Like, there's a pretty large sample size that I'm pulling that from, along with the math on the wallets from richlist.info. So I could be off, I could be wrong, but that's, again, based on my anecdotal evidence. That's what I felt was correct. Adam, he's got the super chat here. Appreciate you, sir. He says, just thank you for being a pioneer and humble servant to the space. The crypto native is becoming more positive. Crypto narrative is becoming more positive every single day. Great wealth transfer and heist here. Beyond Broke Mastermind. We're going to win. Touch grass. Awesome, brother. Appreciate you and the kind words. Yeah, not always easy. Definitely on the forefront in a lot of different areas and pushing the envelope. And yeah, we're making sure that people in the mastermind are well taken care of, and we appreciate you being a part of it. If you do want to be part of the mastermind, we do have a free month. You can go check it out. It's up here at the top. It's beyondbroke.com, and you can just put in the code BeyondBroke, all capitalized, and the number 1, and then MO, like Mary Oscar at the end, all capitalized, gets you 1 month free there in the group. Like I said, 1,500 people strong. Extremely, extremely thankful and blessed to be a part of that community. And the culture there is just fantastic. Everybody wants to help everybody. Everybody's just a few steps ahead of you, when you join or in the same spot as you. Sometimes it gets really lonely, living in your own little echo chamber, knowing that you're right and your friends and family think you're crazy. And it's nice to be part of a community that doesn't make you feel that way, makes you feel welcome and at home. And we'll have some healthy discussion about the way things are going to happen, but overall are very much in alignment with everybody there that's in the group and their thoughts. So, it's good to have some family, some people around you that are on the same page. So, Lee Hughes says, I hope you're doing okay. I am much better, Lee. Appreciate the kind words. I can only imagine the stress you must be under. Crazy crypto space, a hard-hitting community. Said today, we will be lucky if we have regulations by end of the year. I don't know. Trump mentioned the stablecoin regulation will for sure be passed by August at the Crypto Summit last week. We've got bipartisan approval. This is the first time that both sides have been pro crypto pretty much ever. So I think it's much likelier that we will see something here in Q1 potentially for stablecoins, especially if the reverse carry trade keeps on the same pace that it is right now. They're going to have to. They're not going to have a choice. But as far as total regulations for digital assets, I'd agree with you. At some point this year, I think they're going to drive a pretty big moat for a few strategic blockchains on the payment side. And then, later on, they'll regulate the rest of the space. Good to see that the majority of the regulation by enforcement has been dropped, though. We've got Robert. Thank you for the super chat, brother. $5.89. Very nice. He says, Jake, the upcoming growth and income fund through DWP, can you please give your reasoning for why you are not going to participate? Why or why not you're going to participate? So I'm looking at the income fund for my personal stuff. And that's just my personal preference for a few reasons. And I can't talk about like specifics of the fund and a bunch of stuff because my compliance people, it's not my place. I'm not a financial advisor, but I can tell you what I'm doing and why. So on the income fund, our partner there has a really strong track record. They will be able to produce income on a quarterly basis for our clients. It's a market neutral strategy with a proven track record. They've produced returns between 21% and 39% every single year for the last 5 years. And we should be able to produce those types of returns for people on their XRP. Your XRP is never at risk. It stays there in institutional grade custody. They're able to leverage a line of credit against it and trade that line of credit in their strategy without ever putting, all of that line of credit to work. And should be able to pay out people pretty nicely. I'm looking for hopefully around 5% per quarter is what we're looking to pay back people just kind of as a minimum. They did 5% last month, right? So if they end the quarter strong, I think that they'll be at a 8.5, 9% return this quarter for people that are participating in the fund. So it's a pretty good cash distribution. If you have, let's say you had $1 million XRP and you're putting that to work, you got $2 million. If you're making, just 5% on that per quarter, it's a pretty good chunk of change for most people. It'd be 20% on the year, so it'd be about $400,000 a year on $1 million worth of XRP, or $1 million XRP, which is currently about $2. So, supplement your income, help your lifestyle, pay your bills, cover the debt. So let's say you borrowed against a portion of your bag and you needed a way to service the debt on the interest for what you borrowed. That's also a good way to do it. Take a portion of your assets, borrow against it, take a portion, put it to work, and be able to pay the difference there. So we have a lot of different ways that we can work it, but that's what I'm looking to do. Just be able to fund the business and my lifestyle and other stuff through that investment. The growth fund is on XRP futures, so they trade XRP futures and they pay out in XRP. They have some higher returns, but it's also a little bit riskier. So the track record for the fund that I'm looking at for the income, the worst month they've ever had is negative 1%, like ever. Those are in FTX and Voyager and all that. They've never had a negative quarter. The other fund has also never had a negative quarter, but the growth fund has had a negative 8% month once. So it's a little bit riskier, but it's a little bit higher return, and the futures are going to be able to pay you out in XRP, which will be really cool. So if people want to continue to grow their holdings, and a lot of people are doing both. You know, they're taking a portion, getting some income off that, taking a portion, and making it compound through that other strategy. And we'll continue to develop relationships. We're going to have some more strategies that come out. A lot of you may have seen the depository receipt that we launched alongside RDC. We can't issue those. We have to partner with a qualified purchaser. So we're working on that right now, but that'll be big. So a lot of people, you know, they assume that you would be able to hold your XRP at like Fidelity or Goldman or Schwab or one of those places. Not true. I can tell you with certainty right now, they have no way to hold your XRP. They do not have segregated accounts. If you did do it with them, it would be in a pooled deal. They would own the asset and owe it back to you. Be very similar to, you know, an exchange when you're putting your assets on there. Whereas we hold them segregated, separated out. And then we would be able to issue a DR against it, and then that value would be represented in their ecosystem. So we've literally created the way that you could use that representation of value to earn a yield with the investment banks without them ever having to hold your XRP, which is super cool. And hopefully that'll be live here in the next couple months. We're excited to bring that to market and continue to work on that right now. So we'll continue to build out, you know, these strategies and ways that you can, you know, earn returns and yield on your XRP. I'm always about, you know, having your cake and eat it too, is what I like to call it. I'm here for the upside on XRP, and I don't want to have to sell it. But I also wanted to put it to work and be able to earn returns and borrow against it if I want to. And we have all that in place now, which is super awesome. So thank you for being a part of DOBP. And that's my answer, sir. Okay, girl, how are you, ma'am? She says 10-year yield is down from 5.88 to 5.25. Is it being manipulated? If so, what's to stop them from kicking the can down the road weeks and months? They have a meeting next week, and so does the Fed. So she's talking about the Bank of Japan for people that may not know or not following the JPY 10-year yield. I said when it gets over, 1.5, that is the danger zone. And we are officially in the danger zone, and you are seeing it in markets right now. That is what's happening. People are unwinding their trades and rushing to pay back those loans. And that's why you've got downward pressure on the stock market, the Nikkei, crypto, everything is bleeding. And you've got treasury yields rising because people feel there is a chance, higher risk for default. And there are people piling into those. There's more demand for them. So we also had Japan roll back some of the regulations around stable coins, which tells me that they are likely going to launch that here in the very near future. I think you could see, a Japanese CBDC go live, and that would be on the XRPL, just like Brazil is kind of my expectation. I think South Korea would be doing the same thing, and I think that would exacerbate things very quickly. I think you'll see lots of people issue stable coins almost immediately after that, once Japan kicks that off. So they can manipulate it. They can try to manipulate it. They already had, yield curve control this last week, and it's continued to rise. They're not going to be able to control it. And so I think they're going to have to raise interest rates there in Japan. And when they do, they will capitulate. And that's when we will see things really unwind. When there's an emergency rate hike by the BOJ, and we may have an emergency rate drop here in the U.S. By the U.S. Fed when the CPI comes out later this week, and those numbers aren't as good as they're hoping. I think if inflation's ticking up here, they're going to have to lower interest rates, and Trump is pushing them to do that. So if you listen to Anthony Pompilano, he was talking about Fed, Trump like trying to dump the markets on purpose to get the Fed to lower interest rates, and he may be right. So I think that that's coming, but that's also going to continue to squeeze that reverse carry trade and exacerbate things. I'm waiting for the escalation. We're already in it. It's just going to get exponentially worse, and when it does, that's when things are going to kick off. Brad, how are you, sir? He says, onboarding to Anchorage. How much of this crash is tariff related? Isn't it possible that it's being influenced by institutional sell-off or related of the unwind of their carry trade? It's for sure all the reverse carry trade. I don't think it has anything to do with tariffs personally. Scroll on down here, make sure I'm not missing any super chats. And we'll continue to answer all of these great questions by people. We've got Matrix exited. I bought the dip today. Woohoo! Love you, Jake. The GOAT is Beyond Broke Mastermind. Kira, awesome. Glad to hear that. I'm sure there's been a lot of people that have bought the dip today, the dippy dip that keeps dipping. You don't know when it's going to bottom. I think we're pretty close to it for the crypto market, to be honest with you, for the fear and greed index to be at 15. I don't know that we're going to go a whole lot lower from here. We're already a bit lower on XRP than I thought we were going to go. Excuse me. I thought, like $1.95 is kind of where I thought the bottom would be. So let me pull it up here and tell you where we're at. We're currently sitting at, we're back up to 205. Yeah. It's already V-bottomed out of there. And based on the chart, I think that's going to be all she wrote. As far as downside goes, I think crypto is in for a move significantly higher. And I think the reverse carry trade is going to, like I said, exacerbate that over the next 24 hours here. Over here on TikTok, this person says, do you think it'll continue to drop? I just answered that. I don't think so. This person's asked about Solana. Solana's down too much to be adopted for anything. People get mad about that, but that's okay. Let's see here. All right. Couple more super chats. We've got Daniel Smith. He says, good old shakeout. Stay out of debt and buy XRP. Yes, sir. I think that's a good way to do it. Or maybe take out some debt and buy XRP. Not financial advice. Storm Striker says DXY to a minimum of 97, JPY, USD bullish, US 10-year yield bearish to 3% minimum, JPY 10-year max 1.56 to 1.75. What's your opinion on, and how do you think these numbers will affect the economy and crypto? Updated on the JPN crisis. Yeah, I mean, that's where things are at. I think that, the JPY 10-year yield is going to continue higher, and it needs to. Japan needs to be able to pull themselves out of the hole that they've been in for the past 40 years. Their stock market finally hit the all-time high that it hit back in the late 80s. Just here recently. And I think we're coming back and touching that, and the Nikkei's going to continue higher. I think they're poised for a lot more expansion over there in Japan. I think they need to de-risk from the US dollar. Just like most of the other nations across the world, I think they're going to, sell off their treasuries in a hurry. And we're going to have to soak those up and become responsible for that. And, maybe there's a transfer of the escrow, a portion of the escrow for XRP over to the U.S. government to maintain, their stake in the global financial system. I think that's, if you knew you were on your way out, you would figure out a way to orchestrate the next one if you were smart about it. And I think that's what the U.S. government has done. I think that Ripple is involved with BlackRock and the U.S. government, and it's very likely that the U.S. will play a pretty significant role in the new financial system and likely own a pretty big chunk of XRP and potentially even manage the escrow. I don't know that it'll go to the IMF, but either way, other countries, they'd still be willing to participate because the U.S. can't sanction them. They can't like freeze their XRP or take it away from them or claw it back or do anything because the initial account's black holed, and there's no way that they could do that. So nobody can print more of it. So it's a pretty fair system if you could create one. And I think that's what they've done. So, dollar I don't think is going anywhere. Dollar milkshake theory, and I don't know if I believe in that. I don't think treasuries are going to perform as good as people think they are. I do think that they're going to have a lot of volatility in the short term and then get shored up with stablecoin regs fairly quickly. Otherwise, we have some problems. But I'm super bullish on XRP at the end of all of it. We have a few more super chats here. We got Autodid Dact Master. It's got some good abs. Any wealth management advice for Aussie holders? Tax. Get offshore. I wish I had something better for you, brother. A family trust, you can move your assets in there and pay the taxes now before the, assets appreciate if you plan to stay there in Australia. If you don't plan to stay there in Australia, and you plan to, relocate or travel abroad, anything under the Parliament or under the Crown, they're pretty stringent on how many days you can spend in the nation before you're taxed there. Other places in the world are residency taxed. Here in the U.S., we're citizenship. That's what causes your taxation. So if you are no longer going to be a resident there in Australia and you can get your assets offshore to Dubai or Singapore or another locale that has much more friendly taxes previous to price appreciation, and that's where you intend to spend most of your time. Southeast Asia is another good spot, Thailand. So, I would look at those things, but if you are going to stay there, I would encourage you to move it into a family trust and pay the taxes while the assets are a lower price versus waiting till later on. I wish we had a really good tax advisor there. We have some people over there, but they're don't quite understand, what's going to happen with XRP, and it's hard to find good professionals that are willing to listen. So, I have a couple of people that I can send you to if you want to reach out to info@digitalfamilyoffice.io to be able to help you in there. Let's see. We've got Tereso has to go. Have a go. They say, thank you for all you and your team do. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share. Thank you for the kind words, brother. And he's right. I don't say this enough, but if you would like, subscribe, share this with somebody you think it could be valuable for, it does help drive the algorithm, and it is much appreciated. Let's see here. We had a bunch of people ask about LLCs today in the mastermind on the town hall there. So I'm going to go ahead and touch on that because I didn't have time. It was toward the end of the town hall, and people were asking, like, what are the benefits of setting up an LLC previous to price appreciation? Why would you do it now, not later? What's the cost and the benefits and all that stuff. So I'm going to run through that real quick for people. There's lots of them, and we help people do that. We provide everything end to end for clients, and it is a requirement for anybody that works with us at Digital Wealth Partners to custody and earn on their XRP. So one is privacy, and I probably don't touch on this one enough, but this is a public blockchain. And if you notice, when you go to XRP Scan and you type in the exchanges, their wallets come up. So I don't know what it's going to end up looking like over time, but if you do have to register on the public blockchain as an owner of a wallet, which is quite possible. If you have a company or a trust that's the owner of that wallet, it's going to be able to provide you a veil of anonymity so that you can participate without people knowing who you are and how much XRP you have. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but it definitely could. The other piece of that is when you're doing transactions with other parties and you don't necessarily want them to know exactly who's behind something. We can offer a nominee service that provides the manager that will be able to sign documents for you and provide you, again, some more anonymity when you're operating in whatever capacity you would like to with your digital assets. That's going to become more and more important as they appreciate. There's a reason that the very wealthy remain private in a lot of their business matters. So aside from that, though, you do get the full breadth of the tax code to be able to offset income. A lot of people are like, well, Trump's going to make capital gains, no capital gains on American-based cryptos. Awesome. I hope he does. I think that that's going to be fantastic. I think that that's going to be a huge driver for people to come here to the U.S. and issue their assets here. However, you still have gift tax, you still have estate tax, and you still have income tax on whatever revenues generated by putting the assets to work, right? So you can borrow against it. Big proponent of that. You can do that as an individual or through an LLC. Bank accounts is another big piece. If you're going to be taking large profits, even if they are tax-free, to a bank account, and you're doing that to your personal bank account, if you haven't ever moved large profits through there before, probably going to get frozen when you move them in there, or they're at least going to hold them for a period of time. If you have a business bank account, likely not to happen. So that's another huge benefit is banks, if there are large transactions that move through a business account, you want to have it opened, you want to have it seasoned, you want to have, 3, 4, 5 months, ideally worth of, some transactions going through that account before you move a big swath of money to it. But you can let them know when you open the account, say, hey, I'm going to take a large amount of profit from my investments. I'm going to move it into this account. Should be within the next, 6 months here. And you're a lot less likely to get flagged if you're doing it that way versus just in your personal name. So again, back to the breadth of the tax code. You can travel to places, go to crypto events and other conferences for investing. It could be real estate. It could be really anything. The LLC that we set up is pretty agnostic, but has the ability to manage digital assets, but it's a holding company for managing your investments is really how we set things up. So with that, your ability to write things off becomes pretty broad. Let's say you've got a vehicle and it's over 6,000 pounds and you want to drive your G-Wagon to go meet with people to discuss your investments. Right off. Hopefully this year, Trump moves it back to 100% depreciation, right? You've also got any educational resources, like it, excuse me, like I mentioned, travel. If you're going to buy properties, if you're going to diversify some of your investments on the other side of appreciation, makes that super easy as well. One of the other benefits is moving your assets into a trust. So a couple things. Insurance into insurance. Well, we'll do insurance and then we'll move the assets into the trust. So you could do PPLI or another, life insurance policy without a LLC, but you're not going to get the write-off. So because you are the manager of the LLC and you're managing the investments and you are a key employee, like the business wouldn't run if you weren't there to oversee it and manage the investments, you have insurable interest by the corporation. And so when you take out a policy on yourself, you're able to write off funding the policy. So let's say you wanted to cash out, $5 million and they're not, the capital gains are not tax-free for whatever reason. You could fund the policy with $5 million and then it'd be an offset. You wouldn't have to worry about the taxes on that. And now you've moved your assets into an insurance policy and they're protected and they can grow tax-free and you can trade them tax-free and do a bunch of other stuff and borrow against them. They're inside the PPLI policies that we're able to set up. So that's another one of the benefits. And then, most people are going to need a trust of some kind. A living trust is not what I would recommend if you are going to be managing 20, 50, 100 million. If you got like 3, 4 million, probably okay. And those assets aren't going to continue to grow over time. Then that makes sense. But, family heirlooms, the homes you live in, the cars you drive, gold and silver, those are the type of stuff we see in living trusts. if you're going to have assets or investments that continue to appreciate and spit off cash flow, I would highly recommend looking into another type of trust, a dynasty trust, an insurance trust, or an asset protection trust. And what we see most often for digital assets is an asset protection trust. And so there's a gift tax threshold here in the US. This isn't the same for Canada. Canadians, you get to gift until your heart's content, but you have to do it in cash. It can't be in kind. So hopefully that, XRP gets the designation as a currency, which I think it will. But here domestic in the US, that lifetime gift tax threshold is the highest it's ever been this year. It's 13.99 million per person. So between you and your spouse, you get almost $28 million that you can gift out of your taxable estate into a trust. And let's say your XRP goes to 50 million, right? You hit it big. Happy for you. You got 50,000 XRP, goes to $1,000 a piece. You got $50 million. And now you want to get that into a trust. Well, you got it in the LLC, which is great. So now we can gift small portions of equity to your children or friends or whoever else you want to take care of and put them on the cap table. And now we get a valuation done on the LLC. And because you have minority owners, we can get a 30% reduction in the value of the equity of the LLC. So not the assets themselves, but the equity. And so that's what we're going to gift into the trust. The LLC is still going to own the assets, and the equity is going to get gifted over there as ownership. And so now you can move a larger portion of those assets into the trust on the other side of appreciation, about 30% more than you would have been able to otherwise. So anyway, there's tons and tons of reasons that you would want to go ahead and set up an LLC and to be able to manage your digital assets. If that sounds like something you would like to do and prepare for price appreciation, you can go to digitalfamilyoffice.io. We do have a 50% off coupon there for setting up the LLC and providing you everything you need to be able to transfer the assets in there. And that code is 50OFF, 50OFF, DAG, like Digital Ascension Group, LLC. So that's 50OFF, DAG, LLC. Get you EIN, articles of organization, the operating agreement, registered agent. The operating agreement is only like $2,500 if you went to an attorney. Registered agent, certificate of good standing, video on how to set up a bank account and not get flagged, and then also a step-by-step guide on how to move your assets into the LLC to protect them and get you the most benefit. So yeah, would love to help you guys with that if you're something that you're interested in. And yeah, just had a bunch of questions again in the mastermind today about that topic, so I figured I would review it here on the live. This person says, what if you don't have enough XRP to put in an LLC? Just keep buying more digital assets. And that, that's a good question. I've mentioned this before, but like somewhere between $50,000 and $80,000 worth of money invested in digital assets. When you get to that point, that's where it starts to make enough sense to set up the LLC. If you aren't there yet, I would just keep buying more digital assets. Just keep dollar cost averaging. Nothing wrong with that. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense on the other side of taxes and everything. And again, I'm not trying to take money from people that don't need stuff. Just want to provide value for people that do. So, what's happening to the market? The reverse carry trade is unwinding. Lucas, he's got the super chat over here. Appreciate you, brother. He says, if banks use XRP, will it really directly affect its price? Trying to hold my bag, got in after $2, so I'm down, and it's scary, but your streams keep me strong. SEC case and ETFs, hopefully soon. You rock. Thank you, brother. Really appreciate the kind words here. We've been here a long time. People that have been here a long time have seen a lot more volatility than this. And I'm not trying to, belittle you or say anything. It can be scary, right? If you're looking at your portfolio and you're seeing losses, they're not real. They're not real till you sell. Just so you know. And the gains can be real because you can borrow against it because it will be worth a lot more than what it is today. I would encourage you to look back at the history of crypto and just look at the volatility for Bitcoin when it was under $100. Big swings. People put in, $10,000 and be down $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 the next day. It's okay. That's part of crypto. If you're having a hard time dealing with the downside, 20 or 30% swings to the downside, or even 50% to the downside, that's part of getting 100%, 200%, 1,000% to the upside. Volatility is scary both ways, and we're all here for it. To the upside, downside, just not quite as fun. So keep hanging out, man. A lot of what you mentioned here is right here on the horizon. The SEC case is going to settle soon. The ETFs are going to launch. They're going to drive liquidity into XRP. I think things are going to play out extremely fast when they go and move to prices much higher than people anticipate. Here's that code again for people that do want to take advantage of the LLC. Living Legacy, appreciate you on this, brother. So there's the URL down there at the bottom, and then the code is 50 off DAG LLC. Gets you $1,500 for everything all in on that LLC for your digital assets and your investments. Excuse me. Morgan, thank you for the super chat. He says, how do we get access to the income fund through Digital Ascension Group? It's a good question. You're going to go over to Digital Wealth Partners. That's digitalwealthpartners.net. So that is our SEC registered RIA. That is an actual wealth advisor that is licensed with a CRD number, and the individuals that work there have Series 65, 7, 6, 66, 63, all the licenses and certifications required to actually give financial advice and provide financial products to individuals. We manage funds directly there, and they would be the ones that would be able to help you get your assets into the income fund to be able to produce returns on your XRP on that quarterly basis. So whether that's cash, like you mentioned, for the income fund, or if you're just looking to increase your XRP through the growth fund, both of those are fantastic options for people. And digitalwealthpartners.net and the contact us form is how you would find out more. This person says, Jake, appreciate what you do. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. I completely agree with the domino theory. Very cool. Do you think if the Bank of Japan holds rates and the US prints more money, it might delay things until 2026, normal alt season in 2025? They can't keep kicking the can. They're going to have to raise interest rates. Their treasury rates are already skyrocketing, and their real rates haven't caught up with that. And if they don't do that, then they're going to see massive inflation there in Japan, especially if we're lowering interest rates. So, yeah, I don't see how they can do it. 2025 is the year for adoption for stable coins and the regulation for digital assets. This person's asked, do you have to be accredited? You do have to be accredited in order to participate in the two funds that we have there at Digital Wealth Partners currently. We're working on solutions for non-accredited people, but you need at least $500,000 in current value to be able to participate there. The other minimum is XRP. If you've got 100,000 XRP, then you can be a client, or at least $500,000 invested in crypto. So those are the two thresholds there. Most people that meet either one of those thresholds tend to be accredited, but there are people that don't. And we are working on solutions to be able to provide people that don't meet the accredited status a way to generate returns with the DRs that I mentioned earlier, the depository receipts. Those are something that we're looking at being able to provide here in the next couple months for people that are not accredited, in order to be able to generate yield on their XRP in a very low risk way. Let's see here. James Hall, thank you, sir. Appreciate you on the super chat. He said, wish I were accredited so I could get into the fund. Excellent opportunity. I'm blessed to have found this channel and the mastermind. Optimistic for the future. Yeah, I don't think people are gonna have to wait too long. I think XRP is where the chart is right now looks like it's poised to move much higher very quickly. And, everybody's got their number for the accredited status. But, I'm hopeful that the SEC does a reform on the accredited status here in the US, because there's ways in the UK and other jurisdictions. Like, as an example, in the UK, you can be sophisticated if you've spent 2 years in a certain asset class, either working or investing in an asset class. They feel that you're competent and understand the risks associated with things. So these are, crypto-based funds. And if you've been invested in crypto for at least 2+ years, you would qualify as a sophisticated investor in the UK. We don't get to do that here in the US. We can't take provisions from the UK over here. You have to meet the same income or net worth requirements here in the US to be accredited. But again, I hope that there's reform in the near future, either through a test or some other means to be able to be accredited, because I think a lot of people are kept from good opportunities just because they don't make enough money. And how can you increase your net worth to the levels that you want to be able to have if you're not able to take advantage of asymmetric bets and opportunities because you're not accredited, right? Lil P, they say, current status of Japan carry trade. Are we seeing the unwind? Yes. Asleep when you say prices will 10x? Are you talking about Beyond Broke Mastermind or DWP? So yeah, on the mastermind side of things, we are going to raise prices 10x on the other side of price appreciation for XRP. The wealth and management, well, it'll go up some. We'll probably make it 1.1 million. And here's the reason for that. The reason for it is we cannot charge performance fees on anything less than 1.1 million. So people that are in now, like, awesome. People that are in now, we're in the mastermind. We take care of people that take care of us. Loyalty is a big thing for me. And so we've provided that opportunity to people that maybe not, wouldn't receive it later on. Want to make sure that they're taken care of. And, but yeah, it's the prices for the mastermind that will go up 10x on the other side of price appreciation. But there will be a little bump for DWP, but the amount of XRP that will meet that minimum will be way less on the other side of price appreciation. So, at $100 XRP, you only need 10,000 XRP to be $1 million. Is that right? Yeah, 10,000 times 100 is $1 million. So at that point, that's all you would need in order to be able to participate there with Digital Wealth Partners. But oh no, I was hoping that wouldn't happen. Let's see if I can get my camera to come back. Sorry for. Forms, I will not DM you. So all right, here we go. This is my other camera. This is what's going to have to work for the rest of the evening here. A couple more super chats. We'll probably wrap it up here in about 15 or 20 minutes. Carrie says, saw an announcement from David Schwartz saying a hack on Bluetooth through backdoor has been found in the XRPL. Does this mean wallets like Decent that can use Bluetooth are no longer secure? I just, not that they're not secure. I just wouldn't take it out in public anywhere. I don't know why you would be doing that anyway. I would, I wouldn't take your wallet out of your home. I would keep it in a safe. If you have to, take it somewhere, I would make sure that the Bluetooth is turned off on your phone, or if you're especially at a conference, like don't take stuff to a conference. I would have two-factor authentication on it. You're decent. You got your fingerprint anyway. So, not overly concerned about that. But again, just another reason that you'd want to get your stuff into institutional custody if you could. We've got KJ. Thank you for the super chat. They say, hey, Jake, can you tell me why you require clients to have their assets in an LLC before working with them and how a trust factors in? So trusts or LLCs, any entity is fine inside of an IRA. We just need some wrapper around the assets. And the reason for that is there's just less regulatory red tape for the firm if we're dealing with a corporation versus an individual. Same thing for Anchorage. All of our partners just makes things a lot simpler. If you're dealing directly with an individual, there's just a lot more regulatory red tape that we have to go through that's required. And just makes things easier. And that's really the reason why. Sorry, let me get this fixed here. I know this is horrible to watch. Thank you. All right. Let's see here. Going down. We got a couple more super chats. We got SEC versus Ripple is still going. All of those are dropped. Why? Because it was the first one that was a major one. And I think it's also the biggest case around. There's also the furthest along, right? So they have the appeal. They have the judgment. They've got 125 million that's owed potentially. And I think that could be, a bargaining chip for the U.S. government to take that in XRP. I think that there's a couple reasons, and I think they're waiting for the right time. Also, I think they're waiting for when they want to drop it. Immediately after, they're going to be approving the ETFs, and I think we're waiting on BlackRock to throw their hat in the ring for the ETF. So I think it's just timing for XRP and the markets. It was my personal tinfoil hat, if you want it. Dog Dad Dodger, he says, glad you're feeling better. Thank you. What would be considered to be an amount that would cause your bank account to be frozen? Anything that's 2 zeros more than whatever you've run through it. So if you run, $10,000 through an account before, and you run $1 million through it, they're probably going to raise some eyebrows. If you've run $100,000 through an account before and you do 10 million through it, probably going to raise some eyebrows. 100x is kind of, what I think is potentially going to freeze things. But again, even 10x more than you've ever had in your bank account could cause flags if it's in a personal bank account. If it's in a business bank account, it's just not going to raise as many red flags. So that's one of the other recommendations and reasons I suggest that. There's just less scrutiny when it comes to business transactions versus personal transactions for high amounts. Living Legacy says anything over 6 figures, right? So if you're moving 7 figures into an account that's only ever had 10 grand in it, they're going to be like, where'd this money come from? Oh, it came from a crypto exchange, froze, unless it's, it's a business transaction, then they're like, oh, it was for the treasury of the business. There was a large investment that they made. It paid out. I've had a lot less problems since I moved to a business account for crypto versus personal accounts. What are your thoughts on Quant? I don't hear much about it through influencers, but heard it was supposed to be massive in the future. Yeah, RR, thank you for the super chat, by the way. Not a huge fan of Quant. And here's the reason. So Quant is used to pay fees for Overledger to be able to participate and use Overledger to route transactions, but it doesn't actually move value on the network like XRP or XLM or XDC. It's not the value transmission mechanism. It's just to pay fees. And so that's why I don't think Quant is going to be as big as a lot of people anticipate. I do think the technology is huge. I think that it'll be used, but I just don't think the appreciation on the asset that a lot of people are hoping for is what's going to happen. And again, I would love to be wrong on that. I made a bunch of money on Quant when it first came out. And so, I've already made my money on it. Maybe that's why I don't watch it as much as I used to. But there are a lot of people that we work with that hold large amounts, and I'm hopeful that I'm wrong and they make a bunch of money. Same thing about Bitcoin. I hope I'm wrong and people make a bunch of money. Let's see here. We got a few more super chats. We've got, hey, Jake, I wanted to express my gratitude. Thank you for your time and knowledge and all your team as well. You opened my mind to different ways to conceive crypto. Thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. And I don't know. I try to bring an educated conversation and a different perspective than most people and some critical thought around things. And I, like most others, came from a place of skepticism on digital assets and thought it was a fugazi and snake oil stuff. And then when I realized that it was technology and it was progressive and what it was capable of, I started understanding a lot more why people were so fanatical about it, like they were for the internet. And I somewhat became fanatical myself. So anyway, thank you for the kind words. And it's really cool to see that able to impact people in that manner. Alfred says the IMF got Jake. It wasn't the IMF, it was COVID. I'm pretty sure I had COVID, even though they didn't test me because I'd already been sick for a week. I'm pretty confident that's what it was. Eric Presto says, hello, Jake. How are you? Appreciate what you do for us on Mondays and Wednesday evenings. What is the quantum financial system? Oh, geez. And what role does Ripple, XRP, XRPL, ROUSD play in it? If it does, thank you, sir. Please, anybody that talks about the quantum finance, I love Mel. Love Mel as a person. Anybody that talks about the quantum financial system, run the other way. There's no such thing. There's no quantum financial system. There is a distributed ledger that will be the internet of value, and that's how the back end of financial transactions and value will move globally. But it is not a quantum financial system. And anybody that tells you to move money to a certain wallet, or it has to be here, or protect your assets, or make sure they're listed, don't listen to them. It's a scam. I just plain and simple. Let's see here. All right. Looks like we made it through the super chat. So we're going to go ahead and grab some other questions here. Aaron says, can you offer your services in Canada or a contact to set up? I'm holding enough to start and set up properly. We do, Aaron. We partner with Aaron Grinhaus, is our partner up there in Canada. He is in Toronto. And I just recently did a video with him. We talked about Canadian versus American tax law and how to set yourself up to be able to hold your assets in a corporation. So if you want to go back on my channel, I think it was like 2 videos ago, we had Aaron on as a special guest and ran that down. So you can reach out to him. It's just Aaron AARON at grinhauslaw.co or CA. .ca. And he can help you, set up a corporation, make sure that you're structured the right way. And then we would love to work with you at Digital Wealth Partners to be able to earn on your assets. Let's see here. This person says, ensure to claim your Flare token rewards. This is another scam. So I want to mention this for people. Your Flare tokens were claimed a long time ago if you had Flare tokens. The snapshot was taken December 12th of 2020, and then they distributed them like 2 years later. So anybody that's telling you to claim your Flare tokens now, it's a scam. Please do not engage. This person over here on TikTok, it won't be able to drop below $1.90. To many people have buy orders from $1.95 to $1.90. I would agree with that. I think you've already seen a large uptick in volume here. I hold over 100K in XRP. Awesome, Nick. We'd love to talk to you about working with you at Digital Wealth Partners if that's something you're interested in to earn on your XRP. I think you actually need at least 200,000. So I don't know if you qualify or not, but yeah, if you do, please reach out, digitalwealthpartners.net. Do you think XRP will go to 3 digits this year? I think it could go way more than that if we get the unwind of the reverse carry trade and it settles the back end of the stock market. I think you could see 4 digits for XRP if that ends up actually happening in the near future here. I'm just going to post this one up here for people. Again, if you do want to participate in the mastermind, we'd love to have you. Here's the code. It's Beyond Broke 1MO. Get you a free month there in the mastermind. We have a lot of conversations like this. We also run private investments there in the group. So if you have interest in certain fintech companies and you're not accredited and you want access to those, you can join the mastermind and we can get you involved in some of that. So Steve says, can you elaborate on how 4 digits can happen? Sure. So between 2019 and 2022, R3 developed Project Ion with the DTCC. And I put out a video almost a year ago called The Domino Theory that works through the reverse carry trade, treasuries being dumped on the market, stablecoin regulation, Tether being sanctioned, huge losses in Bitcoin, and then the investment banks needing to be able to settle real time to be able to de-risk from their losses in Bitcoin would need to drive the price of XRP to 4 digits in order to be able to settle the back end of the stock market and de-risk. And they would do that through Project Ion, which is already sitting there ready to go in the background. So the ETFs play a really big role in that. We've already seen some buying for the ETFs, but we've got 16 ETFs that are currently waiting approval. And I think you're going to see at least 17 or 18 before it's said and done. I think BlackRock is going to throw their hat in the ring. And when they do, that's the signal that everybody's been waiting for, and the SEC will approve. And there'll be huge buy volumes across the exchanges, all at the same time that exchanges are going illiquid. And exchanges also need XRP to be driven to a high value because of Tether. And I think that you could easily see, $1,000, $1,500 XRP to settle the back end of the stock market. That's what would be required. It's $6 trillion a day. It's over 100,000 transactions per day between the clearinghouses and the brokers. And that's the math that would be required to be able to settle that. So that's the price they would have to drive it to with the volume on the ETFs. Jeremiah, thankful you got over the lingering cough. It's still lingering, but I appreciate you. Who'd you pass it off to? My wife. She's sick as a dog, and I feel horrible about it. Please speak on NASDAQ 24/5 crypto exchanges. So he says 24/7. And NASDAQ announced that they're going to be 24/5, not 24/7, which I thought was funny. So they're going to be 24 hours, 5 days a week, and still have the weekends off. But yeah, I think that's just to tell. The OCC allowed banks to be able to work in crypto, and I think it's a sign of the times. I think everything's going to be moving 24/7, 365 by the end of this year. And maybe they'll keep stocks, and securities trading just during the week. But I think that, it's all going to be tokenized and moved on chain. And like I mentioned with Project Ion, that'll allow for instant settlement at the back end of the stock market. So you got Securitize, you've got a lot of other parties. DTCC also just put out their sandbox for the ability to tokenize stocks as well. So all of that's here on the floor, almost ready to go. Frank says, can you give advice on how to buy into Ripple IPO if and when that's offered? When they go public, you'll be able to buy it on any brokerage, just like anybody else. It'd be a publicly traded stock. If you're looking for pre-IPO, we've run deals for Ripple in the mastermind in the past. Even if you weren't accredited, you were able to participate because it was a Reg D funds, and we run 506B there in the group. So, I'm not saying that we're currently running deals for Ripple there in the group, but we have in the past. And so if that's something you're interested in, you might go check out the mastermind. And again, just put in that code and you get a 1 month free and check it out. Jeremiah says, surprise, Thailand approved Tether as a currency. Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird. They're going to start that on the 16th. They're going to allow that to be currency there in their country. So that's a big deal, that, people would be willing to accept that. I don't think Tether's going to go away. I just think they're going to end up being sanctioned. So again, here's that code. If you do want a free month there in the group, it's mastermind.beyondbroke.com. You just check it out. Beyondbroke #1 and then MO get you a free month. And then Living Legacy, appreciate you, brother. He says, smash the like button. We're going to grab a couple more over here on TikTok, and then we're probably going to wrap it up tonight. We've got how long before XRP reaches 1K? It depends on how long the domino theory takes to play out. It could be tomorrow. It could be next week. It could be a month from now. But I don't think it's a whole lot longer than that. The 50% off code is 50 off 50 OFF DAG, like Digital Ascension Group LLC, gets you 50% off there at digitalfamilyoffice.io for the LLC. Let's see here. Do you think, I already answered that one. What are the ties? Oh, this is a good one. Mark Carney was elected as the prime minister up there in Canada, which is super awesome. He has some deep ties to Ripple and XRP. He was the first, he was the head of the ECB, European Central Bank, and was the first person to really talk about the US dollar being displaced as the global reserve currency back in 2020, 2019. And, he was meeting with Ripple at the time and laid the groundwork for the digital euro. There was a video of Christine Lagarde, who's the current head of the ECB and used to be the head of the IMF, that was talking about Mark Carney just the other day and his work for the digital euro. The XRPL and Ripple have been part of Digital Pound Foundation and a lot of what's gone on over there for a long time. And I'm excited to see, hopefully in the near future, they'll be issuing that CBDC as well. Logan has asked, would Ripple buy R3? They definitely could. They've got enough money to be able to do it. R3 has been pretty stagnant for a while, but they are still around and they are still providing their services. I think that they're going to become much more prominent when we get full regulation here in the US and stablecoin regs are passed. Logan Ash says, if you are a teen who owned over 10K XRP, would you hold on to 90% long term, like 10 to 15 years? I mean, if you could, I would. I think everybody should probably hold on to the majority of what they have. But again, not everybody's in the same financial position. I would, if I were a teen, I would probably do what I did. And I would escrow some of it on the ledger and make it come back to me in the future. As a teen, I don't know that I don't know that you have the skill set or the people around you that are going to be best suited to help you benefit over the long term. I would do a really good job of trying to curate good people around me prior to price appreciation, so that I wasn't put in a position where I was taken advantage of. I would try to find mentors that could help me make sure that I'm not taken advantage of, and make sure that they're not the ones taking advantage of you either. But yeah, I would, if you had the discipline, I would hold on to it for as long as you could. And by then, it's going to be a much, much higher price. You're going to be well positioned. You'll be able to borrow against it at much better terms than we have today. You'd set it up in a trust with a trustee that could help you manage those assets. Over 10K is not a ton today, but in the very near future, I think it will be. So good on you if you are a team that has more than 10,000 XRP. I wish, when I was a teen, I would have bought a bunch of Bitcoin. I graduated in 09 at 17 years old. So, yeah, looking back, I wish somebody would have told me about Bitcoin, and I wish I would have taken them serious. But, I probably would have messed it up because I wouldn't known what I was doing. Steve says, how risky is it now forward to attempt to sell XRP and buy lower? Very, very risky, Steve. From your scenario, sounds like this risk will be growing by the day. Many not be left on sideline at some point. I don't think you'll be able to buy any XRP as a retail holder in the very near future. I don't think that it'll be available on exchanges. And I might be wrong, but I'm pretty confident in that. When I talked to Simon, who's the CEO at Uphold, when we talked about it, he said there was only 5 or 6 billion XRP between exchanges and retail. I think all that's going to be spoken for and bought up in the near future, and held by the ETFs and financial institutions. And the only way you're going to get it is by buying it from retail at a pretty significant premium. All right. I think that's going to be it. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you for hanging out with me on a Monday night and running it down here in the chat. Like I mentioned, if you do want to join the mastermind, you go check it out at beyondbroke.com. The code is beyondbroke, the number 1, and then MO gets you a free month there in the group and Carbon 1 or the social. If you do want an LLC to be able to set yourself up for success before price appreciation happens, you can go to digitalfamilyoffice.io and check it out and put in the code 50OFF 50OFFDAG. That's 50OFFDAG LLC. 50OFF DAG LLC gets you $1,500 for your LLC to make sure that you're situated before price appreciation happens. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I hope you have a wonderful evening, a wonderful week, and we will see you guys on Wednesday.